Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Indie Artist Interviews. This week, I bring you another author. They're very, very popular and there's a lot of them. This week is a horror writer by the name of Rebecca A. Noble, and she wrote a book called The Flesh Will Be Silent. So take it away, Rebecca.
Hi, so as you said, I'm Rebecca Noble, and I wrote the book The Flesh Will Be Silent. I have it here. I don't want to reveal too much, so I'll kind of give you what the blurb gives about it. So my book it's told in dual perspectives. So we have 6-year-old Sadie and her, I think she's 27 because I wrote it when I was 27, 27-year-old older sister, Amara. But the book starts off with her sister, the 6-year-old, getting in a car accident where her parents, they die all in the car, basically. It's upside down. The parents are dead in front of her, and she has to watch these parents for a couple days until she's rescued. It's California, so it's hot as shit. It's the middle of summer. So that's how the book starts. And then we get into the story where her sister works in Japan. She takes her with her, and then she tells her, hey, I have this house already planned from the start. I was supposed to move there. I got in a fight with mom over it, but I bought this house. If it's okay with you, we would move here. So they do that. After a couple months, they go to Colorado and they move to this new house. And pretty much day one, they get some weird shit happening. They walk into one of the restrooms, and the younger sister notices all her senses are off, while the older only realizes there's something odd about the room. And that's day one. And then pretty much from there, things just escalate physically for the younger sister and physically for the older as well, but she doesn't remember these things. She only ever remembers, like, why am I standing in this doorway? What did I do last night? Why am I wet? Like, things that she can't explain, but she also isn't like, hey, that's something's fucking with me. Where her younger
Okay,
sister,
okay.
she's trapped in this
If
headspace.
I woke up all wet, I'm asking
Yes, but
questions.
think shower, you're getting out of the bath, and you knew you went in there, but you don't know what drove that factor.
Okay. Because I've lived in a
Say I
basement
try to
before,
write
and
it,
I've had
I
a
want to.
toilet break above me, and it was above my bed. So I'm like, I've
Oh,
woken
fun.
up wet before.
Question the shit out of it. Exactly. This is more, I try to add little parts of it to remind people as because imagine you're driving and that situation where you're like, holy
Mhm.
shit, I can't remember anything I just did, but I know I got here.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
that. So
You
every couple
zone
minutes
out.
throughout the story, she's like, I remember this and I remember this. I can connect the dots that obviously something happened in between, but I
Mhm.
cannot tell you what.
Okay,
Pretty much.
so
It's the whole thing is
is
that. It's just not knowing
is
how
there
she got to
ever
where
a
she got, but she recognizes.
Oh, that just made me think of a scene like something went through my head when you put that. I was just like, what if you were driving and like you zone out while you're driving and then you pop back up, you get to your destination, like let's say you were going to McDonald's, you get to McDonald's, you
Mhm.
get out of your car and you see it, there's just like blood all over your windshield, and it's a lot later than you thought it was, and you're just like, what did I do? I drove to
What just happened?
McDonald's. Like I got in the car to drive to McDonald's. I'm at McDonald's.
Hmm.
It's 2 hours later.
Exactly.
So it's that
So it's
type
stuff
of.
like that. And then she's a nurse, so she's telling herself, once I get to work, she works at, she's like, I'm going to get myself help. I'm going to figure out maybe it's something to do with my blood. I'm losing, I'm like passing out, not realizing it in between these like gaps of time, mainly because they're in the bath while she's relaxed. So she's trying to figure out what the possibilities are throughout it.
My detective brain is going off. I'm just like, okay, they move into a new house. What if there's someone who, like, maybe they bought the house from, maybe they someone that just watches the house
Mhm.
and they have control over like like a methane gas main, and that's what they're
Well, that's
doing.
why I have it told in first person. So
Mm-hmm.
we actually read those gaps. It's
Okay.
her that forgets it. So you're there,
Oh,
you
okay.
feel
Okay.
when she's assaulted, when she's beat, when she's hurt,
Ooh.
you see it. You're there, you're her. And
Also,
then
I'm
you're
gonna be
when she
throwing a
snaps
big
out of
old
it.
trigger warning at the beginning of this video.
Exactly.
Big
So as
old
soon as
trigger.
she snaps out of it, you're with her and you're like, oh, I felt that band with her where we kind of just go into this new pocket of time. So
Got it.
it's fun because of that. So it's not,
Okay.
I don't try not to hide anything so that I don't play with the narrator. And it is very much what you see. I purposely put that into it.
Okay. So,
So the narrator is very reliable.
what's your background? Why the horror? aesthetic? Why did that attract you rather than all the other ones with fantasy or
Love to read everything.
Mhm.
My favorite to read is probably actually fantasy, and then fantasy horror would be next on that.
Of course, fantasy
But
horror.
horror is just what I grew up loving. I had like a really bad childhood, and but my dad, I would always wanted to be close with him, even though we never really were.
Hmm.
But that was one of he was obsessed with like Friday the 13th, Freddy Krueger. He as soon as I think I was like a little kid when The Ring came out, and he took me to watch The Ring in theaters.
Okay.
But because of that, he wouldn't get home till like 10 p.m. and he'd walk in, singing the Freddy Krueger song, one, two, Freddy's coming. So just stuff like that.
Okay.
And it pretty much I ended up just liking it.
I mean,
It never scared me. It was always just something that set well with myself.
I mean it, and we can get into the whole nature versus nurture thing, but like we do
Hmm.
know that some interests are hereditary,
Yeah.
uh, such as flavors of food. There's an argument for like sexual fantasies and kinks that are hereditary through the mother's side, and then
Okay. I was
possibly.
like, I do not want to know.
Oh, I apologize. What you're
It's
into,
okay.
your mom likes too.
Well, mine has passed, so I will message my brother and see if he
Ah,
knows what this is.
okay. But I'm curious. I'm a big scaredy cat.
Hmm.
I adore horror from a distance. You, I won't watch scary movies. I will watch scary movies
People's reaction.
explained. I will. No, I don't
Okay.
watch the reactions. I watch scary movies explained. Like we'll
Okay.
take
Yeah.
you through the entire plot. We will tell you the entire plot of Freddy Krueger, and then we'll go
Yeah.
into character. We'll go into character analysis of all the Freddy Krueger.
So you
Uh,
want like little summary breakdowns of the story.
exactly. I'm just like
There you go.
I don't do suspense. I have stress related hallucinations. That's one of my
Mhm.
issues.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just
Hmm.
like horror's going to be over there.
Avoid it if you can. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't need more in that. But
Hmm.
no.
Exactly.
How do you get scared from a book? I used to read Goosebumps. I tried getting into Stephen King. I was too young to get into it. I might try it again at some
Hmm.
point, but he from things that I've learned about him, he kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth, yada yada. But
Same, which is crazy.
mm,
So no, how I got into horror, it was specifically reading and like the fear factor of it is that
mhm,
was actually the first genre that I picked up as a kid. I
yeah,
had really bad speech impediment. So I was put into these like IEP classes, and
mhm,
from there they suggested learning to read. And I I didn't like the fun, fluffy stuff. So I tried Goosebumps. They just had a pretty cover and I
mhm,
liked it. So I read it, and because of that, it just snowballed into loving horror. And I picked up Stephen King like really young because of it.
mhm.
And I did love his stuff until I got older. And I was like, oh, but I don't think I have ever been afraid myself from a book,
Okay.
but I can see it in my head the way I watch. I don't really get scared either with movies.
Mhm.
So usually when I read, I place my favorite characters from movies that I like, and then I just have them reenact it. So in my head, I'm playing it as a movie, and it's just a good movie because it's my own movie.
Okay.
So
I
it's
don't.
not necessarily always scary.
Without giving too much away, because we want people to go in
Mhm.
and read her book. Go read her book. I'm sure it's great. I'm going to have it on
Exactly. Good.
my
Yeah.
wall back here when I get a bookshelf and I buy the books. But if you could compare it to a modern day horror movie, which one would you compare it
Yes.
to?
I would say The Smile,
Okay.
that new film. I would say that one. And I'm really heavily inspired. The gore is heavily inspired about like Art the Clown, the way he does things. I just love the savagery where it's not sexual, it's not driven by anything, but pure like fun. Like it's not
I will
him
say the vagina
using other emotions. It's
chainsaw
not love,
was.
lust, it's just anger.
I will say
So that
okay.
are you talking about the chainsaw down the body?
Yes, I was just like the vagina chainsaw, purely not sexual, just
Yes.
torture.
Not sexual pain because the vagina has a lot of pain. Same thing
Exactly.
with
But
that was the
also,
one scene where I didn't blink because I was watching. For me, it was the scene where the girl's like scalped and salt. That
mm,
was hard to me. My husband was the one watching the girl, and he was like, "Oh my god, that has to hurt." I'm like, dude, that's what got you. The hair is what got
ooh,
me.
No, but I did find that scene fascinating because again, I saw a synopsis of it and they talked about it, and I was just like,
Mhm.
"Oh, hey, that's what chainsaws were originally used for, was for birth, but to open up the birthing
Oh,
canal."
really? I did
Yeah,
not know that.
chainsaws were originally used for child labor. It was a
That is
doctor, and they were
crazy.
hand cranked. They weren't motorized. It was a hand crank, and they just went really fast as they cut into the bone
See,
and
that's good
stuff.
to know because I'm actually going to be writing a Westerner in a couple books from now. That
Hmm.
similar vibe to all these.
It's
So,
like
and it's going to be in like
1930s.
around.
It was like
Okay, I was
1930s
about to
that
say.
they were exempt.
Let's look it up.
Yeah.
It's going
No.
to be like a good mix.
Okay. So the is there a villain that goes after mindless gore in your book? Just like they're they aren't sexually aroused by the violence,
Yeah,
but
so that
they
is
are.
pretty much the main guy, the demon, and it's well known from the start. It's not hidden. As soon as
Yeah.
we see her, we know who she is. That it's the reason her pain reason to live is to eat your pain and to eat your fear. So what pain and
Oh,
fear?
that
No
seems
other
like
drive other
it.
than to want that. Yeah,
Kind of it
it's
like.
not
Is there
sexual.
a
She's not mad at you. You can't talk her away. She's just it's nothing that you can do about it.
oh, oh that reminds
And she
me.
doesn't, that's another thing. There's a reason why there's a trigger. She doesn't, it doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter male, female. It doesn't matter. All she
Pain
wants
is
is you.
pain. Okay.
Exactly.
So how does she? Well, one female killer, very nice, making me think of like a Carrie victim or oh Pearl. Last okay, so that's actually like the last horror movie that I watched in the
Oh,
theater
I love
was
Pearl.
Pearl,
Hmm.
and I was just like,
Hmm.
she's really going to ham on that scarecrow right there. And what's this tension with her dad in the bathtub? But
Hmm.
we need more women in STEM, more women in horror.
For sure. Yeah.
Uh, no,
Totally agree.
but oh gosh, it was making me think of an analysis I did back in 2020. I went to film school, as you can
Hmm.
see with my major success. Um, but we were analyzing like some of the modern horror tropes is an unrelenting killer that kills just for their either enjoyment or because that's just
Hmm.
what they do. And
Yeah.
I believe that the fear that we have found in that is the fear that animals felt when we were persistent hunters,
Oh, for
where
sure. Hmm.
like yours is going after them to feed on their fear, to feed
Hmm.
either an itch or quite literally eat it. But
Hmm.
not being able to be stopped, just always pursuing them, is the horror that is happening today, where we're no longer afraid of like, oh, it's the unknown, like back during the Red Scare, or oh, the person next to you could be someone that's a villain. It's
Yeah.
someone that can't be stopped and is
Hmm.
doing it just because they can. That's the horror that
Yeah.
we find these days.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I don't know if it's for I think it's each person's different, but for myself, I'm that person that's like, does no one own a gun? Does no one own like pepper spray? Do you guys not have knives in your house? So
Fair.
myself, when I write, I'm like, I know for a fact, if I was in this place, I could defend myself with these. So I need
Mm,
something that could bypass that. What will scare me so much? That or like a sneak attack. So when
fair.
I write, if I'm writing a scene like that, it has to be either snuck in
Hmm.
or it has to be like a battle till
Okay.
someone wins,
What's
which
scarier
is a
for
lot in my second.
what's scarier for you? Someone, let's say you have to go down into your basement. It's dark. It has one of those pull string
Mhm.
things. You're going down there, and what's scarier? You turn on the light and they something jumps up at you, or you turn on the light and you see something far away that has just been watching you.
Okay,
Which
so
one
that's funny
hits
because
more?
I've actually been to this scenario I used to think about when I was a kid. So when
Hmm.
I was living with my brother, he was my guardian at the time.
Hmm.
I lived with three other brothers who I didn't really know. We had different dads, and we moved in when they were like teenagers, and I was like 7 or 8 coming into their
Hmm.
lives. But that was pretty much the case. Their dad had passed, and they used to joke that their dad lived on our stairs. So I would always turn off the light before I ran upstairs because I said
Mhm.
if I saw their dad standing in daylight, I would rather be dead than if I had the light on and someone touched me in the dark.
Ooh.
So my answer would be the dark. If
Okay.
I saw it real life, it's hard to dispute
Mhm.
something that you see for sure
Yeah, because
versus.
I've always thought that like jump scares are kind of like overdone these days. Like, yes, it gives
Mhm,
you the cheap thrill. It's really easy to do. Just have something that's horrific, jump at the
mhm.
camera. But that tingle in your head of I turn the corner and there's a tiger right there, and there's
Yeah,
nothing I can do about it. I'm
it gets
there,
worse.
it's there. You have to sit in it because it hasn't pounced
Exactly.
yet, but you know it's
You're
going to.
what? You can run back, but you know you're dead. You can freeze, you know you're dead. There's nothing
Exactly.
you could,
Like, and
and
the
your
jump
brain
scare
is going
doesn't give you
so
that.
quick.
The jump scare
Yeah.
doesn't give you that suspense and
It
that
doesn't.
dread.
Mm-mm. Exactly. So that's why, like in this book, I try to make you know that they're coming. Like you can feel the
Mm-hmm.
way that like the shift is already there. So from there, anything scary happens because of the monster itself and the lack that you can do because she's really big on locking you in place.
Mm-hmm.
So you're pretty much what's really scary is you're accepting what she's doing and you can't do shit about it. You can't do anything about it.
Oof. Okay, I do have a question.
Hmm.
When having a powerful adversary, there's usually
Hmm.
rules that come along with their power. Are there any
Yes.
rules for your villain?
So as she collects your fear, specifically the one she wants,
Mm-hmm.
she gets stronger. So as her fear gets collected, she gets stronger physically as like more of like a body that can actually do things. But no, she starts off more as like a sound and like a pressure to the room, not necessarily
Oh, and that's why the
something that can
sister
hurt.
was
Yeah.
able to. That's why the
Yeah. So
sister was
as
able to
she
sense it.
feeds, yes, as she feeds, she gets stronger basically until she can do what she wants to do.
Okay, that's making me think of like, let's say you lived in an apartment building and your next door
Hmm.
neighbor or the person that lives across the hall from you is like this really really old lady, and as you live there,
Hmm.
you feel more worn down. You feel fear.
Hmm.
You don't feel safe, even though there's nothing happening. Like whatever is
Exactly.
going on
Something
with
is
you,
feeding. Uh-huh.
and then every single month, like you don't realize that
Hmm.
she's imperceptibly getting younger. This old lady.
Yes.
Oh,
Hmm.
what
So
a
my
cool
second
villain.
book, because it's a completely different demon, that is pretty much what it is, and it's from day you learn it by like chapter 6 that that's what's going on. It's a demon that from the get go he's there. He's with she doesn't even realize it. He's letting her live her life, but he's
Mm-hmm.
there. And that's one of the questions when she mentions he's a parasite, and he tells her we all are. That's pretty much, he's like, we all are. I'm a parasite. You eat the world. You take the shit from the same way I do.
Okay.
It's like the only difference is I'm eating you.
Oh well, you're calling me. I'm the bad guy because I'm eating you. Are you the bad guy to the
Yeah,
chicken nuggets you just ate? Are you the bad
basically.
guy?
So he's saying we're all parasites. That's what we are. We have different ways to go about it.
Fairly cynical. Um, what
Hmm.
if you had to live through a horror movie? Which one would you choose? Which one do you think you'd be able to live through?
I always see these, and I mean, for a fact, no to Art the Clown. I would kill myself
No.
before we got to me and him. I'd end it. Yeah,
Would he ever be
it'd
able
be
to
better.
make you come back to life? Is that something that art can do at all?
I have not seen it. I have not, and I've actually because I've questioned that. I've gotten like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude, I need it because I'm one of those people I'll play it while I sleep. So I try to come up with ways I could live, and I'm like, no, there's just
There's nothing you
it's
can
easier
do.
if you do it.
But like, what would be worse is like, hey, your art, uh, like your art's target, and he's not gonna let you
Mhm.
die unless he's the one that
Yeah,
kills you in a terrible way. Like,
yeah.
oh,
So
that
that's why that's like a big thing. And here, that's why he's a big like thing of mine is my demon wants to drag it out. It's not quick. She's not
gotcha.
a tiger or a snake that's wanting to end it. She's straight. She she wants to eat more, and the more pain you expel, the more she gets to eat. So she
Oh,
wants it to drag.
just a tearful scene where like your
Mhm.
main character is talking to the demon, is just like, what do you want? Do you want me dead? Oh no, I want you to live a long time. Your fear is
Exactly.
delicious.
Hmm. Exactly. But it's stuff like that. But as far as what I think I could survive, I feel like Chucky.
Chucky's
Only
easy.
because the second one, when they cut him apart and they separate him and he ships himself all back, I feel like I could come up with a smarter way to do that that isn't able to get out of, like cement blocks that are
Concrete.
exactly, exactly. And then by the time he comes back, I'll be long dead. So at that point, he's not my problem. So Chucky.
You ever put? I got this tungsten box that we're gonna drop in the
Mhm.
Mariana Trench. Have fun, Chucky.
Exactly.
Just drop it.
Exactly. Enjoy your swim.
I also think I can just punt that guy around.
I say that every time. My like 1.5-year-old, we have a Chucky doll, and it's supposed to be like the size he was in the movie. And I'm like, dude, she's bigger than him. I could totally punt her. Like, you're the same height.
Yeah, it's like, here's the thing. He comes at you with a knife. Take off your jacket or just be okay for a minute, like getting sliced on your leg, and just shin kick him as hard as you can.
Well, and he's not bone and metal. He's still this, he's not throwing that much force into that blade, really.
Exactly. Like, I don't understand how can he jump? Is Chucky able to jump high? Because I've seen him go up
in my head doing that.
Yeah.
I can see him coming up, but I still don't think high enough that you really feel like it's not that high still. I feel like in the head.
I feel like if
anything, that bet would be easier for you because you got the arm advantage.
Just like hold him out. Yeah, he's going to be cutting up your arm. Just kind of grit it out. That's something else. Horror movie.
And even you can probably swoop under with the other and hold him out.
Or just grab his arm and get the
exactly.
Knife.
Wrench it out real quick.
That knife is way too big for him. His hand isn't wrapped all the way around it.
Exactly.
Yeah, Chucky would be easy. And that's why they turned into comedies. They stopped being horrific at all.
Chucky is one of the first scary films my kids tried to watch that I was like, all right, if you get scared, that's on you. Enjoy tonight. And they didn't get scared at all. They enjoyed it. Yeah. They enjoyed it so much they took my Chucky doll that they now sleep with it in their room. And it talks. It says all his famous lines. So it's not like it's just this cute thing laying there. It moves and everything. So it does not scare them. And it never really scared me either. It was always like a fun movie to watch.
It's I feel like it's kind of the predecessor to games like FNAF or even Poppy Playtime, those big
That's what my daughter's obsessed with Poppy Playtime right now. She's literally playing it for her last week. She came home from school because she's been asking about my books every day. And I'm like, dude, why? And she's like, well, I really want to be cool. And if I tell my friends your story, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to give it to you. You just told me what you need. But she's obsessed with horror too. And I'm like, well, it's cute. I loved horror, and I swear no one did at my age. So I'm like, at least you guys are having fun and going back to enjoying the weird stuff that I did as a kid, and it not being other things that kids are into today.
But what's happening is mascot horror. Mascot horror has brought in a younger audience because
Five Nights at Freddy's and all that.
Exactly. That's Five Nights at Freddy's, because they make toys, and the scares are only jump scares. They aren't horrific unless you go into the lore and all that. But little kids are just seeing, oh, that thing's running at me. Oh, and it also makes a funny noise.
Well, they're saying things that they want to visit, that they want to see, and they're doing these bad things. That's my daughter. My 5-year-old, she loves horror more than my older one, and she'll always tell me that's why she loves that stuff. And she's like, well, it's just something that can come true. She has a cow that she walks around with every day. She was like, I'm always nice to Bank. That's her cow. And she's like, because if he's because I don't want him to come alive and be mean to me. He'll be mean to you or my sister because I'm always nice to him. I'm like, oh, so you're preparing for your cow to come alive?
Okay, so that reminds me. A horror movie that's not marketed as a horror movie, The Brave Little Toaster. Both of
silent,
them. Yeah. Because that made me be like, man, I feel bad for not using the oven today. So I'll just go, when I was younger, I would just go turn on the oven, not cook anything, just turn it on. I'd put a piece of toast in the toaster. I was just like, they're alive too. And then I turned 6.
Are you ADHD? Because that's my daughter. She has ADHD, and she's just like that.
I am severely ADHD.
I took my 7-year-old to get diagnosed for ADHD because she was struggling in school with it. And they said she does, but for her, it's just more on just like it's hard not for her to just stay focused, but she just gets bored easy. My younger, while we were in the appointment, the doctor is like, did you set her up one? And I was like, no. And he's like, yeah, she's like a mirror of myself as a kid. She her toe bled at the appointment because she was like so excited. She like busted it on the door. She didn't even cry because she didn't want to tell anyone. We watched like blood get trailed. She's very much the same way though. But anything she does in the house is she has a reason behind it.
Mm.
Like it's not like she didn't just go to the sink and pour water and then pour it on the floor next to it because she'd be like, oh yeah, the floor looked like hot. I was trying to cool it down. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, why does my floor need to be cooled down?
That's fair.
But
That's
everything she
fair.
does has like a reason in her head, like a little story that she created to why she should get away with what she's doing.
There's always a reason, and then adults say that reason is an excuse. So then you just come up with
Mhm.
excuses as you get older. And
Oh
yes,
yeah, I swear that's
I've
her.
been diagnosed with ADHD since I was like 5, and then they put me on medications when I was 6, and I was on them till I was 18, which is why my
Mhm.
height is stunted.
No, see, that's why I told my husband, I was like, dude, if she ever had to get to the point where we had to do medication, I would rather like look into like cannabis routes first. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, even take her out of school if I had to and like work on it myself before numbing her out. She's so fun that I don't want to numb her out.
I took
She's a very lively person.
I took 36 milligrams of methamphetamine for a good like 12 years.
That is weird.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And they wonder why I burnt out so quickly.
Yeah.
Uh,
Literally fried all your neurons. And they're like,
they're like, man,
that
Spencer
is so
doesn't feel
crazy.
feelings except for anger anymore. Yeah, he got me hooked on drugs at a young age. And then as soon as I
Exactly. What do
turned
you think
18, I
happens when you come off?
stopped. Like,
Mm-hmm.
well, here's the thing. My parents took me to the doctor one time because they're like, anytime his medication's wearing off, he gets incredibly angry. I'm like, oh, give it to me, doctor.
Yeah, I swear it's almost like we're just learning about hormones because I don't know how out of all these years, finally everyone's realizing how much each body plays into the way they act. There's a reason why women are so mad when we're on their period. Like we don't realize that everything has a reason. Your body doesn't just do what it wants. It has a reason.
Mm. See, that's something else. You got to learn to listen to your body. Like, I'm
Exactly.
not
Oh
the
my
most
goodness.
healthy, but I know when I've done something wrong with my body, and I
Oh, for
know
sure.
like
Immediately.
what my body
Hmm.
needs immediately. I'm very active. I'm a vendor, and I deal with a lot of like heavy bags of fertilizer and grass seed, and I do like at least 10 pallets a day of stacking,
Hmm.
unstacking, and moving it around. Um, so I take in a lot of carbs, but on my weekends I don't walk around as much. So like I'm
Oh,
still
yeah.
just
Hmm.
shoveling carbs into me. So I'm getting a little bit of a Santa belly here
That's how I
soon.
feel it with sweets. I can avoid carbs. I can avoid like chips. All of that. I don't need sugary drinks. It's sweets, and I have to
Mm-hmm.
keep it out of my house or I'll eat it. And I'll be the only one. My kids will even be like, no, I don't want it. And I'm just over there like, okay, well, I can't stop myself.
Ooh, best
So
horror
that's why
movie
I'm trying so
snack.
hard with them because I can't get past myself. And I'm like, I can't let them get to what I'm at. So I'm always like, hey, you see, I'm doing what I say not to do. You see how I feel like I feel bad. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't get to where mom gets. Be smarter. And
Don't do
it sucks
smoking,
because it's something
kids.
that I've been working on. Hmm.
Don't smoke,
Right?
kids,
Don't do it.
or you'll sound like mom.
Exactly. What's
But
funny was I remember my mom was she was addicted to meth and that's what she would always say. She would do it and she'd be like, just don't get to this. And that's why I did it was because I would watch her and be like, no, I'm never gonna be you. And then my brothers did it too, and I was like, I'm not gonna be like the way they treated each other, and I got to watch it as like a kid.
mm-hmm.
It is why I stayed away. So I'm like, dude, I hope my kids can see that I actually like I'm like loud about I'm like, hey, like I don't feel good. This is why, like I want to stop it. And like I'm letting them know, like it's not me just being like, hey, you don't get to eat this.
Mm.
It's usually like, hey, if you do eat some, please think about how you're gonna feel later.
See, growing up, my parents were just like, well, he's hyperactive. Let's just get him into a bunch of activities. So, like, my parents
Oh,
actually endorsed me to, like, be healthy, eat right, start, like,
mhm.
being active and stuff. So
The right track, yeah.
I
Mhm.
was in gymnastics, I was in Little League soccer, I was in competitive weightlifting, I was in marching
Oh, nice.
band. They
Mhm.
encouraged me to be as creative as possible, even though they kind of were just like, you can be creative, but it's not going to be a career. Just kind of wagging the finger, and they're like, okay, you're 18. What do you want to do for college? I'm like, I'm going to go into film. And they're like, we failed you. We, we'll get it right with the next son. And then moved me
Say,
down.
I told my husband, I was like, keep in mind, I was like, because our daughter, she's very much like that. She likes to be hands on. She's very creative. And I was like, keep in mind, it like the way she's going with ADHD and with like the need to do things with her hands and create stuff. I was like, she's probably going to try to get into the arts
Mm-hmm.
or in like a manly job, like welding or something that requires, like, keep in mind, she's probably going to go into something like that. Don't try to push
Yeah.
her to be a doctor or a nurse. It's not going to work. She needs quick,
I've tried college
constant.
4 different times. Even
Mhm.
online stuff. I
I'm
can't.
actually really worried about school for her because she loves constant like talking and constant engagement that I don't know how it's going to go with like a big class and not like a one. She wants the attention. She wants this
Um,
while she learns.
I know that when I was going to school, like phones wasn't a thing like when I was younger,
Mhm.
but I got permission to have like a headphone in, like when they were still attached to the
Mhm.
phone and stuff. And what
Yeah.
I always found was if I can stimulate a different part of my brain
Mhm.
while trying to listen to class, I will retain
Yeah.
things better. So like a tactile movement thing. So like this is a little dice that I've actually been
A little thing.
messing
Yeah.
with,
Oh, nice.
and it
Hmm.
holds a bunch of little dice inside of it. So
Hmm.
if I'm trying to listen to someone, I'll do something with my hands to distract the other part of the brain that's trying to be
Yeah.
distracted. Um,
Hmm.
but fidget toys, that's pretty much what I'm getting down to, is just
Yeah.
fidget
I
toys, be
remember
as
those
quiet as
coming into
possible.
when I was in school. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll probably have to look into those for her because I feel like she's definitely a fidgeter.
Mm.
Because I'm a fidgeter, but not as bad as her. I really feel because my husband, he also has like a little bit of those traits, but sometimes I feel like I watch it more in myself and not realize it. I'm like, oh, I did what I just told her to like calm down for her. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things where I'm like constantly learning a lot alongside her. I'm like, oh, but I do feel bad. I'm one of those parents. If I did say something when later I'm like, hey, that I will tell them. Like we'll sit down and I'll have the conversation. Be like, hey, I realize I should have said this different. Like I'm sorry, I hurt. If it did hurt you, I'm
Mm-hmm.
very much very loud if I'm wrong. I don't mind being wrong with
Yeah,
my
and
kids.
I find that something that I didn't get a lot is I was told
Mhm.
to do things, but I wasn't told why to do
Why?
things and why not
Yes.
to do things. It was just like,
Hmm.
just do it because I told you to. No, I need a reason why
Yes.
so I can justify the
Hmm.
sandpaper against my brain of having to do it. So it's like,
Exactly.
it
I'm a
was always a
questioner, so I'm
fight
the
for
same.
me to brush my teeth because I hate the taste of mint, and all
Hmm.
other like toothpastes just don't taste good. So the
Yeah.
act
No.
of brushing my teeth was terrible, and it wasn't until
Hmm.
I had to get cavity fillings in that I realized, oh, that's the consequence. That's why.
Yep.
So if I don't want
Hmm.
to have the buzzing in my
Hmm.
brain, uh, I need to brush my teeth. But
Yep.
that's
That's
really
pretty
all it
much what we
is.
do with them. I try so hard to always explain why, and then when
Mm-hmm.
they ask later why, I'll give them a secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Usually after that, I won't let it slide. If I gave them two whys and they're still doing it, I'm like, all right, I've explained very well. Now you're just doing it for
Yes.
your own side, not because you were questioning me. You just wanted to keep doing it. But for the most part, I'm very big on making sure, because that's how I always was as a kid. I want to know why exactly I couldn't do something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very big on that.
And I'm sure you're gonna there and I'm sure your children are going to grow up to be fantastically well-rounded people.
Hoping.
Well, you're putting in the work. That's the thing, is you're putting in the work,
Yeah.
and you aren't the type of parent that's just like, a cure-all pill. Take this for
Yeah.
years.
Exactly. And it's hard because I feel like I didn't have any of that parenting, and I was not an empathetic person before my
Mm,
kids. My sister-in-law, like when their dad passed, they were like that. She's like, I think that was the first time I saw you cry, because he took me in when I was like 15 into their house.
mhm.
And I'm like, dude, I didn't grow up. Like if you showed emotion, that's how you would get punked in the house. Like you just couldn't. So becoming a mom, it was my kids hugging me. It took a lot out of me to like get used to hugging them back or like to lean in on their snuggles. Even today, like if I get touched too much, I'll find myself being like, all right, stop. Like I'm not used to being touched.
Very
So
fair.
everything I do for them is something that I've either watched or taught myself or like try to reason why I should do it.
Hmm. And again, you're doing a wonderful job. From what you've been able to explain, your children are going to grow up and be fantastic
Yeah.
people. But we're going to pivot now over to
Yes,
the
let's do it.
6 artist questions. Now, these are questions that I send the artists beforehand for them to think of a appropriate answer. So, question number 1. What gives you the most motivation to create, and how do you stay invested?
So motivation, I would say it is my kids, but not in the sense that just because I'm their mom, but it's in the sense that it gives me my own time. Like I
Mhm.
get a deep dive into my mind and actually be away from like the world around me. And it's not just reading. I get to like come up with all these scenarios and I get to try to make things worse or, fix altercations in my own head. So I would say that is really what drives me is just that my time alone where I get to write and just feel like a human, I guess, not like someone's mom only.
I get that. I get that. My wife writes in her own way,
Mhm.
and that's her time to get her catharsis. That is
Mhm.
where there's things in our life that can't be fixed right away, but
Yeah,
through her writing, she finds that she can make a problem, make a solution, and feel like she's achieved
exactly.
something through
Mhm.
that. And it's
Exactly. The closure of it. Mhm.
and again, writing fiction, that's the whole point of fiction, is being able to
Mhm.
feel these emotions over something that
Yeah,
ultimately doesn't affect your real life.
exactly.
All right. I like it. I like it. Question number 2. What has had the most influence over your style?
Ooh. Um, I don't, so I love to read myself, and it's not necessarily one piece of work, but when I read, I really love when I'm flipping through the pages or I'm using my Kindle and I don't realize that I'm reading. Heavy immersement is my favorite thing, where I can feel their breaths, I can see what they see in their head, I can feel the movement, the sounds, all of it, and I just like when it's weaved together. So that style, just something about immersement and it also still feeling like I'm in a movie. That is whatever that is, just picking it up from years of reading and noticing that my favorite books have that. Pretty much, it's just that.
So a sense of
that
immersion
style.
and getting rid of that bridge of entertainment, inviting the
Exactly.
inviting the
I'm not in the
audience
book.
in.
I'm not at home. I'm here. Yes.
Exactly.
So pretty much that.
Okay. Okay. Question number 3. If you could have one person publicly talk about your art, who would you want?
See, that one's always a hard one because growing up and because of horror, I would always, it's Stephen King. But I
Big.
don't know if I'm a big fan of his person.
Mm-hmm.
Just the things I know about him and as a mom, as a woman, like it just makes it hard to like
It's
push
it,
past it.
he's a hot
And then like all
stove.
my other favorite authors are usually like fantasy, but I would say one of my biggest inspirations to get into writing was LJ Andrews. It's She writes fantasy, but she just is I picked up her books and she made me fall in love with reading again.
Mm-hmm.
So because of her, I would say she's something that I would love to like, hear or say something about my books.
Okay. What kind of what books has she written? I'll throw them up on
So
screen.
she started out as an indie author. She wrote it's called The King, something with the Nine Queens, but her newest series was actually the first book I picked up, and it was an indie book at first that they just picked up this year and published mass market. But
No, good for
it's
her.
called The Other King, and I started reading that one when it had just came out. It was on Kindle. It was one of those like just like random ones that popped out the day it popped up.
Okay.
And I went on to that. And from there, I found out that there was a whole prequel series with like 9 books. So I read all of them. And then by the time I finished that, the new book came out. So just
Mm-hmm.
back and forth.
Are
But
you a
her stuff is very.
Have you ever gotten into audiobooks?
No, I've tried, but I just the way my brain works,
Mm-hmm.
I can do too many things while I'm listening to audio, and I'm one of those people where I don't like to do things while I read. I like to
Fair.
sit and focus. If I do listen to music, it's more like not karaoke, but just the acoustic version of things. Like I'm more using it for my setting, my vibe, versus to destroy. I just like to be fully immersed. So when I hear too
Okay,
many
okay.
things or I'm cleaning, it kind of messes with it a bit.
Oh, what are your thoughts about like now again, you've already answered that you don't enjoy audiobooks. But they've started doing this thing with graphic audio where you
Mhm.
instead of saying the birds flew overhead, you hear the birds flying overhead and like you wear the headphones in and it's a
Ooh,
full
I
3D
feel like
effect.
I would like that.
It's
I,
like movie ready audio.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like I would like that as long as it's not overly disruptive. If they talk
Mhm,
about, crows flying and the moment they say, like before it even comes in, they're squawking loud. I
mhm,
feel like as long as it's brought in slowly where
mhm.
it amps up in your ear and you like finally settle with, okay, that's what's going on, that would make more sense to me. As
See,
long as it's not like click.
audio
As long as they didn't
dramas
just
are
click a
coming
button and you
back.
hear a crow.
Oh gosh,
Little
no.
kids both, and they're like, crow.
No, they have like actual professional sound designers that go
Yeah,
through
something like
and
that. I feel like that'd be kind of cool. That might actually be something that I
tr-
would probably enjoy then.
I
Yeah,
don't know if you're ever a fan of Fourth Wing, but Fourth Wing has graphic audio, and that
I do. I read the first two books and then I
Mhm.
decided that I'm not going to read them until they're all out because I'm so tired of the cliffhangers. I love them. But I'm going to
Oh,
buy the books the day they come out like a good girl and
mhm.
then I'm going to keep them on my shelves. And then I'm
Okay.
going to block every single person that tells me about what they read
No, I
until I get to this last book.
here's my thing.
I'm
I've never cared about spoilers because if a story is good enough, spoilers shouldn't matter.
Okay, I agree because I'm a spoiler. I am one of
Mhm.
those people where if I read it, I don't mean to spoil it, but I'm immediately like,
I need to
everything I'll
talk
tell
to
you will.
someone about this.
Yeah. And I'll do that. And then people are like, hey, I was planning to read that. I'm like, well, you should have stopped me at any point and
Yeah.
told me, hey,
Oh yeah, full on. If someone says stop, I don't want to hear about it. I'll be like, okay, fair,
all you
fair,
had to
fair.
do was do this. And
But
I would have been like, oh, okay.
let me know when you do so we can talk about it.
Exactly.
Um, okay, okay, okay. So question number 4. Tell me why this matters to you.
Ooh. Um, so writing has always been I actually started when I was really little. When I first started reading, I also attempted to write. It'd just be little short stories. It was always horror. And then I stopped between like in and out of foster. And then when at one point, I think it was my sixth grade year, I started getting into journalism.
Mhm.
And my teacher was like, "Hey, I want to make you like in charge of the club for journalism." She's like, "The only thing is, I wish you would write one of your short stories every other week." So I started adding them,
Mhm.
and I really enjoyed just doing that. And the way she would cheer me on just made it better. And then I stopped writing after the eighth grade. And it wasn't until this past year where my husband's like, hey, like you love reading. You always talk about loving writing. Why don't you try? And pretty much just picked it
100%.
back up. And yeah, I didn't think that anyone would enjoy my words. So it was fun when I actually had like beta read it and they're like, oh, this is really good.
Mhm. All right, all right. Question number 5. When you envision your work, what medium do you visualize it in?
So by being a you met person, like who do I see? Because okay, that's what I took it as. So I see the character I pick. So
Mhm.
my this book right here, she's ginger, but she has a little bit of tan to her. So I just imagine a straight up ginger, like a Cali girl with a tan, and then
Yeah.
she has green eyes. So I see her in my head.
Mhm.
And then I'm a big gym person, so I go every day. So I built her as like an athletic person. So I actually see the people as I write them. So it makes it nice because the way I describe things, I try to always put pictures in people's head.
Mhm.
And there are a few characters I purposely describe them less
Okay,
so
so
that
they're
you could
fuzzy.
create them. Which I've had people message me and be like, "Hey, I put my best friend as that person, and I
Mm.
watched them die." And I'm like, "Oh, I did that on
Well,
purpose. Sorry. Like I wanted you to see anyone that would
uh,
mess you up more."
are you the type of person that's just like the less you tell in horror, the more scary it's going to be for the audience?
No, I would say the opposite. just
Okay.
depending on the scene. So if I'm writing gore, no, I'm giving you everything.
Show
I
it.
want you to
Yeah.
be sick. I want you skipping lines if you need to,
Hmm.
just so you can be like, holy crap. If
Okay.
I'm writing a scare scene, yes, I do less. I will do it's more quick. So
Hmm.
her eyes are shut. Someone's all of a sudden she feels a breeze. Someone's tapping at her, and that's the horror
Okay.
is
Okay.
her hearing the noise in her ear while she's like afraid to open her eyes. And you're this person, and you're like, okay, just don't open your eyes. Don't do it. Don't do it. And she has no choice because she gets her eyes taken off. So it's just either way,
Oh.
you're forced into things that you don't. It's not like a slow, really succession, and it's not long when it comes to like the scary parts.
Gotcha.
It's the gore that I drag.
Because I always a, co- an opinion that I've heard in the past is like the least scary part of the aliens, the first aliens movie is when they show the alien, because like it's more
Mhm.
scary when it's up in the rafters and it's just moving around. You see
Mhm.
its claw, maybe you see its mouth, you see how long it is, but you
Yes,
never actually view it, because then once you see it,
exactly.
it's
But
like, oh, that's a guy in a latex suit, that's a
I
guy in a
agree
latex suit.
when I'm watching, but when
Mhm,
I'm reading, because I put myself is that person. Because when I'm watching a film, I'm
mhm,
not that person. Scarlett Johansson is Scarlett Johansson. But if I'm reading a book, I'm
mhm.
that girl. So that's the way I see my character. Like every time I write, or I'm that person. So how would you react if you finally got face to face with this person? It's not just someone 10 feet away from you that can't touch you, someone you can flip off. It's someone in your space.
So you
So
prefer
the way
first
I write is
person point
there.
of
Yeah.
views?
Yeah. So first person, and the second one, this book I'm currently writing is third,
Hmm.
but it's third limited. So you're still basically first person, but you get a
Yeah.
little bit more like more narration that you wouldn't have.
Gotcha, 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 gotcha. So, do you feel like that stems from possibly like you stated before that you have trouble with empathy, and
Hmm.
by reading I and me and all that in a book, you feel it more than Scarlett Johansson
Yes,
up on screen, because you're like, well, that's
exactly.
not me, so why do I care?
Exactly. So I think that's why I picked those narrators because I want that. And I try to do it with not just saying, I'm scared right now. I do it with saying, my fingers, I can't control them at my hips. They're like, she won't let me close my eye. Like I make it so you are this person, you don't know what to do with your emotions. Like I'm never like, I'm sad. It's, you feel the sad, but I never say that she's upset. It's just the way she moves or they talk. So I try very hard to make it you as a person because you wouldn't say these things. You would
Okay,
feel them.
okay, okay, okay. All right, we are going to move on to our last easy question. How long have you been creating, and how long have you worked on this piece?
Yeah. So this one, the story itself was one that I used to get sleep paralysis dreams when I was a kid.
Hmm.
And so that main demon was kind of what I assumed she would do to me if it was a real thing.
Hmm.
So I've been playing with the idea of her since I was a kid, but the book itself started about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I started writing in November of not this past one, but the year before. And then pretty much it took about exactly a year for it to come out. So
Okay.
I'm hoping with the second one we'll do the same, but it might be dragging out because I'm putting out more to this one. The other one is a cut and dry, like it's a story that it's a haunted house demonic story. Where this one just had the one I'm writing right now has more to it,
Okay.
like more deaths, more background. So it's just
You're get
different story.
you're hitting your stride as an author, and you're allowing yourself to go
Yes,
deeper into a story.
yeah, I'm trying to push myself to things I don't necessarily know that I have to look up and you know actually immerse myself in too.
Okay. Well, fantastic. I have no
Hmm.
more questions for you. Could you please tell
Perfect.
everyone where they can possibly find you and your book? You guys should all go follow them and buy 3 of her books. Do that. Buy 3 of them,
Yes,
everybody. One to give, one for yourself, one to put on the shelf, and one to give to a friend. But then your friend also has to
exactly.
buy 3 more.
There you go. Okay, so my book, The Flesh Should Be Silent, which you said you have up, but it will be, you can get it on Amazon. It's Amazon KU, paperback, and hardcover. That's pretty much the only place I'm making special editions.
Hmm.
for TikTok, but I am still learning. I want them to be perfect, so I'm trying my best to do it slowly and I keep researching more things to do for them. So, but pretty much just as of now, it's on Amazon. You can check Goodreads and Amazon for reviews, and I post about it 24/7. I use all TikTok and Instagram mainly. It's the same name, Rebecca A. Noble. I think there's like a period in between. But yeah, that's it.
Thank you all for watching. Again, go watch her, like, share, subscribe, buy 3 books, give it to a friend. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.